So we'll start now. Okay. Hello, everyone. For the people in the far west, good morning. And for the people in Europe and the Middle East and Eastern Africa, good afternoon. And the people in the far east, good evening. And maybe some people, we just caught them before they are going to sleep. So welcome to the fifth General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament for Water, or what we will use as a terminology for it afterward, WYPW. I'm happy to be here with all of you today, along with my colleague Elissa, who will introduce herself in a couple of minutes. I'm Karim Hassan, the Executive Director of UN ESQUA Technology Center, which is based in Amman in Jordan. However, it's a regional office serving the Arab region, and I'm a big fan and supporter of the World Youth Parliament for Water. So now for all of you, what is the World Youth Parliament for Water? It's a huge network of passionate young people from over 80 countries across the globe, who are the leaders of tomorrow for making waves of change in the water sector. And we are claiming also that they are the leaders of the now. Our members take action on water issues at all levels, from concrete actions in local communities to advocacy for youth leadership in the water sector at the United Nations General Assembly. We respond to the interests of youth, working together to prioritize water issues and create platforms for the expertise of youth to be recognized on all these issues. And now we are at our fifth General Assembly, celebrating 17 years of action and more decades of impact to come. Thanks a lot for all the attendees. And now I'll give the floor to my colleague, Elissa.
Thank you so much, Karim. Hello, everyone. My name is Alyssa Vaillancourt. I'm Youth Project Manager at the International Secretariat for Water. It is really a pleasure to be here with you today. We have been working tirelessly over the past few months to prepare this event, and I am so excited that we are finally kicking off this event today. We are so very honored to welcome over 600 participants from over 50 different countries. Over 100 speakers, including high-level speakers such as Mr. Danilo Turk, former president of Slovenia, and inspiring young professionals such as Fatima Toussal, president of the Association des Jeunes Professionnels de l'Eau du Sénégal, and member of the 9th World Water Forum Organizing Committee. We are also grateful to welcome over 30 partnering organizations who will be taking the lead in various sessions throughout the week, and without who this event would not be possible. If you have not yet registered, it is still possible to do so. We have opened a few spots, a few extra spots yesterday. So if you have not yet registered, you can do so by visiting our event website. The General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament for Water is also the occasion to celebrate the amazing achievements of the network over the past 3 years, and to recognize the amazing work that has been done by so many inspiring young leaders across the globe. It is thus my great pleasure to officially welcome to the stage Lindsay Aldeco-Manor, outgoing president of the World Youth Parliament for Water.
Thank you, Alyssa, and thank you, Karim, for your great energy to start us off. Welcome WYPW members, chapter presidents, working group facilitators, partners of WYPW, and distinguished guests. Welcome to the first ever virtual General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament for Water. This event is a milestone for our network. We are delighted to have all in attendance this week and are grateful for your time you have taken out of your busy schedules to engage in important dialogues that will help youth accelerate our goal for achieving SDG 6. We hope you will find this platform inspiring and that you will be encouraged by your fellow amazing WYPW members and actions they take every single day to help raise the issue of water to the forefront of the global water agenda. Over the past 3 years, I've heard countless stories of how WYPW has become a beacon of hope and a light for our members who are looking for inspiration in a community as they face similar water challenges. As much as WYPW has inspired these members, they too have inspired me. as they continue to push past their own water challenges and to seek to be the positive force for change in their own communities. We anticipate this gathering of young water leaders to fill up your cup and to spark new ideas for innovation. Preceding General Assemblies were held at the World Water Forum events. In 2015, this was held in Daegu, Korea, and in 2018 in Brasilia, Brazil. While extravagant, these General Assembly events were able to engage up to 50 outstanding WYPW national delegates. We are proud to announce this year, as Alyssa has previously mentioned, we have nearly 600 members registered for this General Assembly. With the World Water Forum being postponed to 2022, coupled with the complications of international travel, WYPW sought this online engagement as an opportunity to expose more of its members, more of its leaders to the work of the network, as well as to engage more leaders in shaping the next 3 years in our strategy. Our team is proud of this accomplishment. In addition to our numerous parallel sessions that will take place this week, our General Assembly has been divided into 4 main workshop themes, including Shaping WYPW, Innovation and Local Action, Water Security for Peace and Development, and the Power of Youth. These workshops were all developed based on popular themes by which WYPW has worked to align itself. The interactive workshops provide an opportunity for our members and leaders to engage in core topics and areas of focus for the network. Shaping WYPW in specific will be an interactive workshop where the past leadership of WYPW engages with our new leadership to design and plan for the 3 years to come. This will be a high priority for the network, and we encourage all members to follow up with published processes and next step actions in the coming months. I encourage you all to hold your leadership responsible for this. And with that, I'd like to thank ISW for being the technical support and huge encouragement for our General Assembly and for the countless hours your team has put into making this event a real success for WYPW. I really can't thank you enough. And with that, I'd like us all to take on this week with an open mind as we collectively engage in discussions around our favorite topic, water. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. So I think I'll leave the floor to Kareem to introduce the next part of our.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Lindsay and Alyssa. And yeah, let's move on to the next session. So 20 years of action, 15,000 young leaders have been engaged with 30 regional and local parliaments across the globe. This is what the World Youth Parliament for Water has achieved so far. Let's discover how the World Youth Parliament for Water changed the life of young leaders and their communities through this video.
But the most precious thing that WYPW gave me is, without any doubt, the precious lifelong friends. I'm so grateful for the many inspirational, for the kind, for the unique people that I met at WYPW, and I'm really happy that I can say that many of them are and will always be my best friends.
One of my favorite things about the World Youth Parliament for Water are the friends that I've been able to make as a result. As an organization of youth acting for water, our common thread is a passion for water resources and all to have access to clean, safe water.
Well, really so much. It has really shaped my life both personally and professionally as well. I met my husband at WYPW and also the people with whom I would co-found Young Water Solutions, that is the organization that I now direct. So a lot, really.
En fait, PMG m'a permis de me connecter et d'inspirer les jeunes faisant des actions concrètes au niveau de leur pays en matière de l'eau et assainissement. et c'est l'une des raisons que j'ai moi-même créé un chapitre de PMG en Haïti.
And I want to tell you about the sense of belonging to a community when once I publish something or make a post in social media related to youth and water, immediately I get so many feedback, reposts and supporting comments from all over the world, and this is amazing.
Grâce au PMGE, j'ai élargi mon cercle de réseau à travers le monde et je me suis également familiarisé avec la culture de plusieurs autres pays. Si j'ai un nom et une réputation dans le secteur de l'eau aujourd'hui, c'est grâce au PMGE.
The Parliament gave me a chance to attend the MEM Summit, Middle East Mediterranean Summit in Switzerland. So this helped me a lot and it helped me to hone my skills as both a journalist and a water activist. So I do not exaggerate when I say that joining this Parliament was a turning point in my career journey.
Le PMG a aussi facilité mon intégration dans la vie professionnelle, car mon engagement citoyen pour l'eau et l'assainissement s'est vite transformé en une opportunité professionnelle dans le secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement et dans les secteurs de développement plus en général. Je vous invite vous aussi à vous engager.
En fait, encore aujourd'hui, ce que je me souviens, c'est des échanges interculturels vraiment enrichissants. C'est des personnes incroyables et magnifiques que j'ai rencontrées. C'est des amitiés à long terme que j'ai créées, des fous rires que j'ai échangés, des pays où j'aurais jamais pensé mettre les pieds.
Join the parliament is join a big global family. Water is life, is youth is the future. Lutter pour l'eau, c'est lutter pour la vie. Vive de PMG. Merci.
The World Youth Parliament for Water taught me about community. My favorite memory is from the 4th General Assembly in Brazil in 2018 when we were welcomed into the community of Santuário dos Pajés. It was a reminder that we need to all work together in order to protect the water, and it's going to take all of us.
So many thanks to all the inspiring young people who participated in this interesting video. And now we will move on to the next session. As the 5th General Assembly is a youth milestone for the 9th World Water Forum in Dakar in Senegal, we are pleased to be recognized as one of the official events of the road to Dakar. And now I'd like to introduce one of my favorite people in the water sector, Mr. Abdoulaye Sene. He is the Executive Secretary of the 9th World Water Forum and one of the public figures in the water sector across the globe. So now the floor is yours.
Madam Executive Director of the International Water Secretariat, Madam President of the World Youth Parliament of Water, dear participants, it is with great pleasure that I am addressing you on the occasion of the 5th General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament for Water, which has been labeled as an official on the road to Dakar 2022 event. We are delighted that your organizations are committed to mobilizing young people as done during the previous edition of the World Water Forum. To ensure that young people are involved in the process, the 9th World Water Forum Executive Secretariat has worked on a youth engagement strategy with a program of activities before, during, and after the forum. The ambition of this mobilization is to ensure a diverse representation of the world's young people, to work for intergeneration dialogue, to strengthen the scientific managerial capacities of young people, to support youth initiatives for improving water security around the world. To that end, we will initiate a youth program called Jambar Ambassador of Water, which will mobilize 1,000 young people who will contribute to the forum content, support the organization, guide the participants, and carry the legacy of the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, Senegal and the World Water Council are organizing the forum under the theme of water, security for peace and development. This major international event will be held in March 2022 in Dakar, on African soil. It is a unique opportunity to make the voice of young people heard, given that Africa is predominantly populated by young people. Young population should not be seen as a burden, but as an asset, because a growing population of working age is an opportunity for economic development. Dear young people of the world, the future of water is in your hands. This means that your commitment is essential if we are to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. I would like to remind that the Executive Secretariat of the Forum has given you, young people, the opportunity to organize a consultation day as a prelude to the kickoff meeting in June 2019 in Dakar. I am delighted that this General Assembly will make it possible to strengthen the reflection carried out by your peers in Dakar and structure the active participation of young people around the following three main components of the forum. First, by being involved in the multi-actor platform with all stakeholders in the four working groups: water security and sanitation, cooperation, water for rural development, and tools and means. Second, by strengthening the advocacy so that the concerns of young people can be taken over by the Summit of Head of States and major international institutions, which will launch in Dakar a historic political initiative to catalyze action for the universal access to water and sanitation. Third, by presenting projects to be launched as part of the Dakar 2021 initiative, which aims during the preparatory phase of the forum to select a relevant innovative project with short-term results and lasting impact. I would like to invite you also to reflect on your contribution that will participate in building the future of water, notably through the African village and the sanitation village, which will be set as part of the forum major exhibition. These are spaces for demonstrating technical, scientific responses, social innovation, and for developing partnerships for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the COVID pandemic reminds us that water is vital for health and therefore for life. Without available water in sufficient quantity and adequate quality, it will be impossible to deal with this global tragedy. The forum will pay a particular attention to actions aimed at addressing the new challenges highlighted by the pandemic in order to provide concrete responses in the construction of a more resilient post-COVID world. To conclude, I would like to reiterate the belief we have that this event, your General Assembly, will be of great help in the youth mobilization efforts. Thus, we look forward to the conclusion and recommendations that will come out of your meeting. Together, I am confident that we will succeed in organizing a historic World Water Forum with concrete answers so that water security for peace and development is ensured everywhere for all through better cooperation with young people. I wish you an excellent session and thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sene, for your remarks. It's a true honor to have you with us today. We are very grateful for your support and we look forward to continuing our partnership in the lead up to the 9th World Water Forum. The future generation of young leaders in the water sector can count on the support of various partners and donors without whom our work would not be possible. For several years now, both the International Secretariat for Water and the World Youth Parliament for Water have been able to count on the tremendous support of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, a very strong ally who has been by our side, supporting us and allowing us to empower thousands of young leaders across the globe. It is my great honor to welcome to the stage the head of Global Program Water at the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, Mr. Simon Zbinden.
Thank you very much, Elisa and Karim. Thanks for having me. It's a great honor to have a few words at the very beginning of this great gathering, the virtual gathering. So today, indeed, we have the largest generation of young people in human history, which represents about half of the world's population. The population actually is close to 8 billion people. So half of them are young people beneath 25, 30 years. Most of these young people live in the global south, pointing to the huge opportunity for impact. Never before, young people had this unique opportunity to shape the world according to their values and beliefs. Not only do they have an increased knowledge and awareness, which wasn't the case in the past, to the many social environmental challenges of our world faces, they also have the willingness and the potential to tackle them. And never before, young people are as connected as they are today. What is the youth concern? Of course, opportunities in the pursuit of their own happy life, of their own long-term prosperity, but it is also sustainability. Why? Because everyone sees what happens currently to this planet, and everyone wants to have a future in the long run, particularly young people. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which guides our efforts for a more sustainable, inclusive world, highlights the importance to address the needs of young people and to harness their potential as active citizens for peace and development. The success of this agenda depends, amongst others, of course, on the empowerment of young people as agents of change and equipping them with skills, knowledge, and most of all, confidence in their abilities. Young people can bring change, and they do bring change. I don't have to tell you about Greta and Adenike from Nigeria or Eva Huti from Kenya and others who have actually triggered a so-called Fridays for Future movement, which is extremely powerful everywhere. However, too often also, the opportunities for young people are limited. Despite global demographics, investments in young people, specifically in their economic opportunities, is insufficient. Globally, the unemployment rate among youth is 3 times higher than it is for adults. Many young adults are encountering waithood. They are spending their prime years searching for jobs and opportunities. The current health pandemic significantly increased the risk of youth disillusionment across the globe, according to the recent Global Risk Report from the World Economic Forum. Young people are significantly more at risk of being affected by climate change, political instability, and poverty, and they have suffered disproportionately from current restriction to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Also, very often young people, including children, are primary victims of local and global water-related challenges, for example, through impacts on their health, education, or livelihoods. The way we manage water resources today and the policy decision we take have a long-standing implications on the availability of and access to safe water for future generations. If we do not make significant changes today, future generations are at the risk of having inadequate water supply to meet basic human needs and maintain human welfare. Therefore, we must ensure that young people like you are appropriately represented, included in decision-making processes and the sustainable management of water resources. You and your generation are at the center of the solutions we need for a more equitable and more resilient world. In this context, there is an urgent need now to move from advocacy to action and to increase opportunities for young people. The ongoing virtualization of the world, between parentheses, receiving an extra push due to the COVID-19 pandemic, resulted in stronger youth involvement in relevant decision-making processes. It is an opportunity. For example, the World Youth Parliament for Water has positioned itself as a leader to promote the Blue Peace movement, and as such played a key role in positioning youth as agents of change and promoting youth inclusion in relevant webinars, international conferences, virtual calls, and actions, etc. The global program Water of the Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation has long been committed to supporting young people in the water sector through different actions and programs that we support around the world. We are a proud supporter of the World Youth Parliament for Water for many years. Empowering young people in their disruptive, creative, and innovative potential is a key focus of our division, of our unit within the Swiss Development Agency. In the water sector today, also thanks to the efforts of the World Youth Parliament for Water, the voices of youth are increasingly being heard in relevant policy dialogues, and youth are increasingly empowered to become effective agents of change, able to address critical water-related challenges in relevant decision-making processes and spaces, and to provide solutions to address local water challenges. We are looking forward to collaborate with the Youth Parliament for Water to achieve our goal of a water-secure world. The upcoming months provide numerous opportunities for you to actively engage and take part in key international efforts to advance the Sustainable Development Agenda and its goal number 6 of clean water and sanitation for all. Together, we will frame these opportunities and make sure your voices are being heard. This includes the upcoming events such as the IUCN Global Youth Summit next month, the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference in November in Glasgow, or the World Water Forum Dakar in March 2022, for which this General Assembly is a first key milestone in the preparatory process on the road to Dakar. I hope that the knowledge, the tools, the network that you are going to acquire during this week will inspire you to engage even more in the water and sanitation sector and enable you to lead long-term positive change in your communities and beyond. Apply disruptive thinking that challenges traditional approaches. Ask yourself to go new pathways of development. Question the status quo and develop and try new ideas. And of course, learn from mistakes. Do also exchange with experienced professionals and engage in policy making to reduce the manifold barriers that young people are facing to reach their full potential. Your innovative capacities can have a significant positive impact on the social and economic development of your communities and countries. I wish you now a lot of success, inspiration, but also fun, not to forget fun, for the 5th General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament for Water. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
Thanks a lot, Simon, for your nice and motivational words. And yeah, adding to your note and reflecting it on the African context, water issues are really pressing dramatically on the African continent, where the youth represent a significant proportion of inhabitants. The African young people desire to engage in water is extreme. And as an Egyptian myself, an African by origin, water security for us is a matter of life and of the public interest as well. The 9th World Water Forum is going to be the first ever Sub-Saharan Forum. Therefore, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Canisius Kanangire, the Executive Secretary of the African Ministers' Council on Water. Please, Dr. Kanangire, the floor is yours.
Distinguished guests, youth colleagues, happy World Water Day. It is a great pleasure to me to have this opportunity to welcome you to this great event as young water professionals to the 5th General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament on Water in collaboration with the International Secretariat on Water. I wish to first of all congratulate the organizers of this great event for convening youth people, professionals from all over the world since 2015 for working together on shaping and sharing youth perspective for a more sustainable and a more dynamic future with regard to water and sanitation. As we celebrate the World Water Day today, we need to be cognizant that more than 400 sub-Saharan Africans don't have access to basic water services. And this, you will agree with me, that it compounds the problem of effectively preventing and fighting the current COVID-19 pandemic, slows down the efforts and fight we are engaging against the neglected tropical diseases in Africa especially, and constitutes a hindrance to unlock the potential of each and everyone to improve their well-being and contribute optimally to the socio-economic development of our countries and region. If nothing is done to improve access to water and sanitation, Africa and some other continent will miss the SDGs target for 2030. Indeed, the UN Water recently reported that current rates need to be multiplied by 4. Otherwise, many countries across the globe would miss the SDG target by 2030. With less than 10 years to the SDG Horizon 2030, the time for accelerated and concerted action is now. We have to utilize all the forces and resources to achieve this collective goal. Globally, it is estimated that the young people below 25 years constitute 40% of the population. In Africa, this proportion of the population is over 60, making Africa the youngest continent in the world. It is against this backdrop that AMCAO recognizes the invaluable role that the youth, and especially the youth in Africa, can play in the effective management of the continent's water resources and promotion of access to water and sanitation services. AMCAO recognizes their unique contribution as agent of change. The youth have the capacity for creativity, ingenuity, and innovation. They also work with dedication and energy and have the ability to raise awareness and influence behavior change through the mobilization of their peers and networks, which is one of the opportunities this event provides. The youth must also be seen as key stakeholder now and catalytic change agent for the future that we want. As the youth realizes the role and responsibilities lying on them, we current leaders need to create space and deliberately invest in our youth empowerment if we are to reap the dividend of human capital in Africa and beyond. Distinguished colleagues, as the Executive Secretary of the African Ministers' Council on Water, and on behalf of the African community, I am particularly delighted that the 5th General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament on Water aims to address some of the issues I just highlighted by expanding the knowledge of our youth on water and sanitation, to develop essential skills, to expand their network and advocate the proper youth representation in key decision-making platforms globally. I encourage you to continue to use this kind of strategic event to mobilize young leaders, connect them to leading youth partners, networks, and stakeholders, and to empower the youth with interactive activities, capacity building, and team working workshops. If we succeed in realizing these objectives, we will get back on track to creating the Africa that we want, to accelerate progress towards achieving the Agenda 2063 in Africa, and to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals agenda by 2030. I believe that other continents have also their long-term agendas to which the youth will be empowered to participate in a substantive role. Dear organizers, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to conclude by commending the International Secretariat on Water in collaboration with the World Youth Parliament on Water and all partners, institutions, the youth network and individuals involved in creating this kind of platform and organizing this event. I wish to also express my gratitude to the International Secretariat for Water for extending its cooperation and friendship hand to AMCAO through the organization of this first edition of Africa Focus session scheduled to hold on 24th March at 12:30 GMT. I seize this opportunity to invite you to participate in this Africa Focus session. I thank you all for listening and wish you an impactful and fruitful event. Enjoy again the World Water Day celebration, which is a time for reflection and reinvigorating our commitment to working harder and invest more in action so that we can accelerate our pace toward the goal. I thank you and God bless you.
Dr. Kanangire, for your remarks and for being with us today. We are looking forward to learn more about AMCAO's work during the session on water and sanitation services for sustainable development in Africa, which will be on Wednesday. So please tune in for that session if you would like to learn more on AMCAO's valuable work. Our next guest speaker for today's opening ceremony is a global leader, water advocate, entrepreneur, and adventurer dedicated to making a difference in the world. In 2017, she ran 40 marathons in 40 days on 6 continents down 6 of the world's great rivers to promote SDG 6. Her commitment to the water cause and passion for positive change is a real inspiration for us all. It is my great pleasure to welcome Mrs. Mina Gulli.
Water. It's the source of everything. The textiles that go into the clothes you're wearing, the crops that go into the food you eat and the water you drink, and the energy that goes into powering the computer you're watching me on. Water is critical to life. And yet, there's not enough. Experts predict that in the next 10 years, demand for water will outstrip supply by 40%. This is going to have drastic consequences that aren't just about numbers on a page, but about real issues impacting real people in very substantial ways. I know because I've seen them. Over the last few years, I've run in some of the most extreme places on the planet. I've run down rivers like the Nile and the Amazon, and I've run across deserts like the Atacama and Antarctica. The journey was amazing, but the environmental devastation and the water impact of the lives that we're leading took my breath away. I ran past piles of plastic bags littering streets and clogging waterways. I ran across dams that were bone dry, and I walked beside women who were trekking 6 kilometres a day in incredibly dangerous conditions just to collect water for their families. I held ice core samples in my hand. Arctic scientists, climate change is going to accelerate our water challenges. And I spent time handing plastic bottles of water to kids' towns that have literally run dry. I ran to the Aral Sea, an inland ocean whose banks have receded so far from the old port that it took me 5 days of running just to reach the water. And along my way, I've met water experts, policymakers, mums, dads, kids. I sat with farmers your age who are struggling to survive severe drought. One of them told me, "Mina, what hope do I have? I pray for rain or I leave my farm." Sitting in the Jordanian desert underneath a lone tree, drinking tea, I listened to a local Bedouin say, "I don't fear the next world war will be fought over terrorism or oil, but over water." Sounds ominous, but sitting there under that tree, surrounded by the pink Jordanian sand, with the sun blazing down, I realized he was right. It's easy when we think about these big problems to think that there's someone else's to manage, that they're too big for any of us to solve, that we're too young, we're lacking connections, we don't have the resources that are needed, whatever. The reality is that any single one of us, any single one of you, is capable of stepping up and delivering real, meaningful change. In 2018, I set out to run 100 marathons in 100 days. I wanted to show the nature and extent of the water crisis. I wanted to go to the front lines. I'd chosen 20 countries for their water impact and for the stories that I thought they could help me tell about water. And as you can imagine, there were stories and people aplenty. People wanting to share stories about their relationship with water, their experiences, their knowledge. I ran through Europe, through Uzbekistan, through Hong Kong, China, Israel, Jordan, and South Africa. And right there in Cape Town, on day 63 of 100, my whole world changed. On that day, I was diagnosed with a 15-centimetre fracture in my femur, an injury so severe I was banned from walking, let alone running. I felt everything come to a screeching halt. My world collapsed around me, and I felt darkness closing in. But what happened next totally blew me away. While I sat in my wheelchair in that hospital in Cape Town, I watched as first our team, and then progressively people in Cape Town, and then around the world, stepped up to run in my place. Thousands of people in more than 160 cities and 50 countries and territories right across the world running for water. It was mind-blowing and completely inspiring. And with those people, we've been running together ever since, joining together with many thousands more who've come with us to walk or to run, and we've extended our reach to over 100 countries. This year, we launched the Water Campaign, a global movement of people who dream big, who act bold. Millions of passionate people just like you who truly believe that together we can solve our global water crisis. People who want to work with companies, with organizations and with policymakers to break down silos and to drive meaningful action on water. To be boldly optimistic and radically inclusive, to relentlessly pursue our end goal, a world with enough water for everyone forever. It's a big, bold dream, but big, bold dreams are what we're made of. They're the future. They're what drives us. And too often, I think we're told, they're out of our reach. But one of the things I've learned through all this crazy running journey is that we need to listen not to the voices of others that tell us we can't, but to the voices in our hearts that tell us we can. I don't want this to be a story about me or about you. I want this to be a story about all of us everywhere, and about the power of each of us to mobilize communities for change on water. Why? Because individually we can make an impact, but when we work together, we change the world. So dream those dreams, pursue them with all your heart, with all your mind and with all your soul. Live your lives, live them with purpose and passion. But perhaps most importantly, remember this. You don't have to be anyone to be someone. Any one of us, any one of you is capable of greatness. And for any one of you sitting there thinking, this is not me, remember that the journey through life doesn't have to be taken alone. We're in this together. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mina, for your motivational speech, and many special thanks for mentioning your story in Jordan. It's one of the most water scarce countries in the world. And mentioning also the very delicious Bedouin tea that I'm also a personal fan of. To close this session and leave our participants from the Far East to go to sleep, it's very late now for them. We want to invite our precious partner to the floor, the International Secretariat for Water, who provides us the major support for our ideas, connects us with our partners, and also backs us for our global movement for change making in the water sector. Please welcome with me Sarah Douz, one of the most inspiring young women leaders in the water sector, and the Executive Director of the International Secretariat for Water. Sarah.
Hello everybody, bonjour, bonsoir tout le monde. We are pleased to launch today the 5th General Assembly of the World Youth Parliament for Water. C'est un plaisir d'être avec vous aujourd'hui et de lancer cette 5e Assemblée générale du Parlement mondial de la jeunesse pour l'eau. This 5th Assembly is not an ordinary event, as it is taking place in a world where ways of doing things have been transformed. In those uncertain times, the International Secretariat for Water, as it is used to do, has demonstrated agility, flexibility and resilience. By proposing a solution to be together today, my team, to whom I am very, very grateful, has been able to adapt and develop a rich program. 100 speakers, 30 partner organizations, 600 participants from more than 50 countries. The 5th General Assembly is a major momentum that will for sure reinforce what we are calling at the ISW the Global Youth Movement for Water. Dans ces temps très incertains, le SIE, comme il en a l'habitude, a su faire preuve d'agilité, de flexibilité et de résilience. Et je suis vraiment à cet égard reconnaissante à mon équipe qui a su s'adapter et qui propose aujourd'hui un programme très riche avec plus de 100 speakers, 30 partenaires, 600 participants de plus de 50 pays. Cette assemblée va certainement être un momentum pour ce que nous appelons le mouvement mondial global de la jeunesse pour l'eau. Dear young water leaders, dear participants, this week, be engaged, move the lines, think outside the box, share, open up. For the next few days, you will have the opportunity, the unique opportunity to exchange, to learn from each other, to build trust, confidence. And you know there should be no limit to what young people can accomplish. We need you, our planet needs you. We need your ideas, your energy, so go for it. Thank you. Chers participants, cette semaine, engagez-vous, faites bouger les lignes, pensez en dehors du box. Cette assemblée est une opportunité assez unique d'échanger, d'apprendre des uns des autres. Et il n'y a pas de limite à ce que la jeunesse peut, ou en tout cas, il ne devrait pas avoir de limite à ce qu'elle peut accomplir. Plus que jamais, nous avons besoin de vous. Notre planète a besoin de vous, de vos idées et de votre énergie. Alors, allez-y. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Merci beaucoup, Sarah, pour tes mots et merci d'être avec nous aujourd'hui. On that note, I want to thank all of the participants, organizations, WYPW members, and water enthusiasts that have joined us today for the opening ceremony of the 5th World Youth Parliament for Water. I'm truly looking forward to all of the amazing sessions that are to come, and I invite you all to go check out the complete program on our event website. I also want to remind all participants to go check out today's daily WYPW challenge. The daily winners will be posted on ISW and WYPW social media. If you have not yet registered and you have just been seduced by our engaging and inspiring opening ceremony, it is not too late to do so. So please go visit our event website to register now. We look forward to meeting and connecting with all of you inspiring young leaders over the next 4 days, and I am sure that the best is yet to come. On that note, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kareem, for moderating with me this session, and please, everybody, keep safe. Thank you.
Thanks, Elisa, and thanks for everybody who attended this session. Thank you very much.